Hello everyone, my name is Koren Wiskman and I'm here at the Scrapbook.com studio to show you a spooky scrapbook page that I made for my 2021 photos. Yes, I'm not caught up, like many of you probably aren't either. So let's go back to 2021 and make a scrapbook page. I also have a matching card, so if you're not a scrapbooker and more of a card maker, kind of like myself, then this video is for you. So this page is out of pocket. So you have some scrapbook pages where you're using the protective sleeve, and then I like to sometimes make out of pocket pages that have like interactivity, like this tag here in a little spooky pocket. This is where you're supposed to write something clever about your beautiful children that you've just scrapbooked. I haven't done that yet, but I will. So first step one is to cut the page just like if it were to match this page protector. So because I want it to look in line with all the rest of the pages. I don't want it to be too small or too big and stick out like a sore thumb. I don't exactly remember the exact measurements because they're kind of bizarre, but we're gonna work it out. So wide is about 6.5 inches by, let's do that again. 6 3/4 inches by 8 1/16. Told you it was weird. All right, I need this. Okay, first one was 6 3/4. 6 3/4. Yes. By 8. And a little tiny bit. Oh, look at that. We did it. Okay. So I did my page with ink blend. I just used one ink. It's a stress oxide in carved pumpkin for the season. And I started in this bottom left-hand corner and just went off into an ombre into the top right. And I'm extra, so I used 2 types of blending tools. I start with this. This is by Ranger. And it just puts on a very light coating of ink. So we just start like this. And this is a really good shoulder workout. If it doesn't burn, you're not doing it right. So just keep going. Just keep ink blending and push through it. And once you have a good start to the color, that's when I'll go in with this ink blending tool. This is the Ranger, another Ranger ink blending tool, and you just go in. And with the ink already on there, it starts to blend a little bit easier. I go back and forth. Just imagine you're using the ink as almost like a paint. You're painting on the color with your tools. And if you see those circles from the ink blending tool, just go over those areas extra and it'll start to blend in and they'll kind of disappear. And you can also use these, it's a stencil brush to keep going. And they all disappear. Right about now, you should feel the burn. You are going to have ink on your mat, and if it's black like this, sometimes it can hide. So make sure you're keeping your area clean too when you move on to the next step, because you will have orange. Ask me how I know. I've ruined plenty of projects with orange or whatever color I'm using fingerprints. All you got to do is make a mess of your project one time after you've done all this work, then you'll keep a nice clean area. And you can do this for as long as you want. You can go up as much as you want. I like to have a lot of white space. So I kind of make it really dark in the corner up to white, like no color whatsoever. And once you feel like you've got enough color on there, then we're going to make a mess with some splatters. I love the splatter. So I'm going to clean up my area and get ready to do some splatters. So now's the fun part, at least for me. I'm going to splatter on the whole background, focusing more on this bottom left corner. This is the pops of color in black. And we're going to use a little bit of water and just any old paintbrush, whatever your favorite splatter paintbrush is. And we're going to let this marinate a little bit. And then once it is liquidy and able to splatter, we're going to concentrate the splatters down here. We're going to make a big mess. But it's fun. This is the fun kind of mess. Oh, I like those. I like it. Okay, and now we're going to do white the same exact way. I have some white gouache in this lid. And this is a bamboo toothbrush. Trust me, I'm not using it to brush my teeth anymore, I promise. And I'm just using it to splatter perfectly white. Again, concentrating in this left corner and then moving it up. And I'm using the side of the lid instead of my finger because I learned that it makes less mess on me. And once you feel like you've had enough splatters, this is what it looks like. And you grab a black strip of paper, and you glue that to the side, add some holes, and you've got a base for your scrapbook page. If you don't have white gouache, you can use the white pops of color, and that should do the same thing just like we did with the black. And ultimately it'll have white and black all over your orange and be super Halloween-y. So make sure you clean up your area because those splatters, look, it's everywhere. It gets everywhere. So make sure you clean up your mess. Silicone and glass are some of the best project mats to use because they're easy to clean. You can make a big mess and just clean it up. So I'm done with my silicone mat, so I'm going to take that away and show you the elements that I made for my scrapbook page. I have pre-cut all of the elements that I'm using on my scrapbook page, but I want to show you what I'm using. It's spooky, so I use the Halloween bats. These would be super great to cut and decorate your house with your kids, these big, the larger ones, but I used the two smaller ones for this project. I also used the Scrapbook.com spooky pattern collection for a lot of different parts of this page. I love these pattern papers. I cut the nested pocket from Nested Pockets. This is a 4-piece set. And this one I've had for a really long time. The nested tags. I I love how big this one is. You could make a page just using this tag and have it flip in your book. So that's super cool too. I cut this pocket from the spooky pattern because I wanted it to say, you know, just a little something extra. And I like the font on this pattern paper, the spooky. And then I cut the boo. There is a page in here that has a bunch of 2x2 squares. And so I used this boo and I cut about 1/8 of an inch off from either side just because this is kind of a short, fat pocket and I wanted it to nest in here just in a similar shape. So I did do that. And then the tag, I used this, I guess like third from the smallest tag, and then I did end up trimming a little bit. This is the tag cut, and then I trimmed a little bit off the bottom just so that it would kind of nest in here, just like that. The October is from Just Months. This is a small 3x4 stamp set, but you know, it has all of the months of the year, so you can use it for many different projects. I used the October and then a date stamp, which many of us have, and stamped the year on it. As for the photo, I used tape runner adhesive. And this is a little 3x4 photo, and I just matted it in the center of the web patterns and kind of arranged it just like that on my page. This 1/8 adhesive is super thin, so it nests really nicely on these sides of the nested pockets. I know it's really super thin, but sometimes when you're building things out of paper, you need this super thin adhesive, especially on cards because everything is scaled down so small. And then you peel off the back. This. I love how this gun feels. And all of the adhesive is on there. Sometimes you run the adhesive down and it's like it skips. This one tends not to skip. I like that. So I don't want to adhere this yet because I have a bat that's down here. I don't like to cover up my son's shoes because I want to remember what he was wearing. And I love shoes. They're important to me. So these were popped up with some foam squares. Just cut really thin strips. And they go on the bat wings. And pops up right here. And then I really love dimension on my projects. Doesn't matter if it's a scrapbook page or a card. So I like to tuck things underneath, poking out certain places. And you can't go wrong. You just play with it and do whatever you think looks good, whatever looks fun. So he can pop over here. Then we'll use some more. These little bats are little tiny. Little tiny strips of adhesive. Okay. So he's going there. I want him right here. So it looks like they're all kind of flying out, and then I like the specks because they could be a lot more bats just way far in the distance. And then this, I wanted this to have a little bit of dimension, so we're just going to stick this guy like that, right side up. And then he tucks in there. So I took from the picture, my older son was a plague doctor, and so my younger son was like the plague. I thought it was super cute. And so he has like these spirally things on his costume, so I wanted some spirally things on my scrapbook page. So I just grabbed whatever black twine or string or ribbon, whatever you have is fine. And I kind of make a loop at the bottom and then poke it through. And then push this through like this. Ta-da! And then you can cut it however length, if you want it long, short. I kind of go on the shorter side so that it's not hanging out of my book. Ooh. And after you write your clever comments or journaling on your little tag here, it'll be all done. And you have a great scrapbook page to remember the Halloween with your kids. Once you've completed your journaling tag, you can stick it in your 6x8 scrapbook. 6x8 is my favorite scrapbook size to use, and you'll have a nice Halloween memory to go with the rest of your photos from that year. I've also made a matching card, so if scrapbooking is not your thing, I did make a card using the same techniques. I also used some white cloud whip on the back with a bat stencil to put more bats on my card, and then I cut that 2x2 square from the same spooky pattern paper collection as my sentiment, and it's done. You have a nice hi friend card to send during the spooky times. So I know that a lot of other countries don't celebrate Halloween, so if Halloween's not your thing, you can use the same technique, change up the colors, and it can easily be Christmas or Easter or whatever holiday you choose, or just any day. You could put a picture of your coffee in your book if that's what your thing is, and use whatever color that you desire. It's just for fun. You just have fun and save the memories. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today in the Scrapbook.com studio. Links to the products that I've used in this video will be in the description box below. Please like and subscribe. If you want more inspiration from me, you can find me on YouTube at Koren Wiskman. Thank you so much, and until next time.